So welcome back everybody, hopefully you're enjoying the beautiful weather that we've got going on at the moment and you're getting your games of golfing. But today what I want to do is actually talk in particular about how you can have a really good pre-round warm-up without the need for a driving range or a simulator. So I'm going to run through all the things that you need to do before you go out for that round of golf.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
So the first thing that I want you guys to do before you even start to do your warm-up is make sure that you've got your scorecard ready, you've got your pencil, you're all set and you're ready to go before you even get out on that course. So make sure you've got your balls lined up, make sure you've got your pencil, make sure you've got your scorecard. Everything's ready to go before you get onto that tee. Once you've done that, you've checked into the pro shop, you've spoke to your playing partners, it is time then to start the process of getting nice and ready before you go on that first tee. Because dropping one or two shots can be the difference of having a good round or having a bad round. So it's so important to get off to a good start because it will put you in a great frame of mind ready to play the rest of the holes. If you're having a terrible start, it's always going to be a battle from the start in order to try and shoot the scores that you want to try and shoot. So the majority of people that I do tend to see that actually warm up before their round of golf probably go in the nets for 5 minutes, they come back out, do a few putts on the putting green and think, you know what, I'm ready to go out on the course and perform at my best. Well, actually, you are probably wrong. What we're going to do today is we're going to start on the short game area to start off with. So we're going to do our putting to start with. I'm going to show you a couple of little drills that you can do in order to warm up. Then we're going to go on to the short game area. We're going to do a little bit of chipping. And what I want us to do is not just do one certain chip. We're going to do a few lower shots and then we're also going to do a few high shots. Once we've done a few shots then, we're going to move into the net. And what I want us to do in the net is actually hit irons to start off with. We're going to hit some full swing drivers and then whatever club I'm going to hit off the first tee, I'm going to hit 5 of them at a full pace. So for example, down at Great Barr Golf Club, the first hole is that out of bounds all down the left. It's a par 5, so it's so important that I'm ready to hit my driver when I go onto that first tee. So we're going to start off on the putting green. And why do I say that? Well, there's no point hitting loads of shots in the net, getting raring to go and out on the course, then cooling down before you're about to tee off. What I want us to do to start with is some long distance putting, some medium distance and some short distance putting. So we're going to start off with some long distance putting. As you can see down here, my ball is just next to the tee peg and the hole is just down there. It is roughly around 15 foot and what I'm looking for is a relatively flat putt. I don't want it to be severely downhill and I don't want it to be severely uphill. I think this one's a little bit right to left. All I'm looking for with this putt is to try and get the ball to finish as close to the hole as possible. I'm not looking at holing these putts. These are literally just to get me on the putting green and get used to the speed of the greens. So I'm going to hit 10 putts now towards the hole and just try and get the ball finishing as close as I can. So I've just finished my long distance putting and I actually got 2 in the hole out of 10. So pretty impressed. Obviously I could get more. However, getting the ball to finish nice and close from that 15-20 foot range is so important. We don't want to be having any 3 putts when you go out on the golf course. So when you first start, you want to make sure that ball's finishing nice and close because if you didn't practice that from that distance, when you get out on the course, it might take you 3 holes before you actually get used to how quick the greens actually are. So wanting to mix it up a little bit now, we're actually going to jump to 6 foot away, but I'm introducing a little bit more of a severe slope. And that just means that I can get used to them breaking putts. So the first one was more about the speed of the greens, and this one now is going to be more about how they break. So going to set it up on a little bit of a right to left moving putt again. Realistically, I could do it left to right because the last one moved right to left, but we're going to stick to right to left this time and just hit 10 putts now and see how we get on with those. So just hit my 10 putts now and a lot of them went in the hole. That downhill right to left 6 foot putt felt pretty good, to be honest with you. So it's provided me a lot of confidence before I even step out on that golf course. If you haven't practiced any breaking putts before you get out on the course and you find that you get one in the first few holes, you're more than likely going to miss that putt, to be honest. And that's just the case of what it is. You're not going to be used to where the ball's starting. You're not going to get used to how much the greens are actually breaking. So nice and easy. We'll move on now to some short distance putts, and I'm going to give you a good little drill that you can do with these. So what I have just done is set up a little drill that I've got down here, and what I've done is set up 5 tee pegs around the hole, roughly around 2 foot away. And what I'm going to actually do is put my ball down to the left of each tee peg, and I've got to try and get round it twice. So I've got to try and hit 10 putts consecutively into the hole without missing any. If I do miss any, then what I'm going to do is just start it again, because I want to have lots of confidence over these short little putts and make sure I've holed tons of putts. So that way then when you go out onto the golf course and you to start off the round, you've got that short little 2 foot putt, you feel super confident because you just hit 10 of them in a row. So that is our next little drill. So I'm just going to jump around and do that. Hopefully I'm going to do it in the first try and don't miss any. I shouldn't miss any of these, to be honest with you. So I'm going to give it a little go now and see how I get on. So thankfully I managed to get every single one in the hole, so it did provide me with a little bit of confidence. When I'm out on that course now, I am going to feel super confident over my putting, because I know my long distance putts, I know my breaking putts, and now I know my short distance putting. So once I feel super confident with that, it's probably going to have took me 5 minutes to do all that. What I'm going to do now is just do a few little chip shots around by the green. So what I've just done is I've got 4 more balls out of my golf bag, because I'm planning on hitting 10 shots in total. We're going to stick to 10 with everything. So 3 lots of 10 with the putting, 3 lots of 10 with the chipping, and then again 3 lots of 10 when it comes to hitting some shots in the net. So in effect we're going to hit a total of 90 shots. It sounds a lot, however it's not going to be that much. So what I'm looking for now is actually an 8 iron. I've got my 8 iron out here, and all I'm going to look at doing is hitting 10 chip shots that roll up to the flag. Little bump and runs that feed all the way down there, just so I can get an idea of how much that ball's actually releasing out. Because I bet you any money it has changed a lot since lockdown compared to when you started. It was soaking wet and rainy. Now it is really hard and firm. So it's so important to get that understanding of how much that ball's going to release out. So let's hit 10 shots now with my 8 iron and see how I get on. So my 8 iron bump and run shots actually released a lot more than what I was expecting it to. So when I go out onto the golf course, I'm already a little bit more knowledgeable than the guy that's just walked onto the first tee, because I know with my 8 iron shots, I'm going to have to land it that little bit shorter because the greens are very firm and it is going to release out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to use my 54 degree. I'm going to play it still almost like a bit of a bumpy run style in terms of my hands forward, ball back. And what it's going to mean is the ball probably comes out still a little bit lower because I'm using the 54 and doing that technique. However, it's going to sit down a lot quicker than my 8 iron. So once I've done 10 shots doing that technique, what I'm going to do is just switch it up again, and I'm only going to hit 10 shots using the loft a little bit more. So I'm going to stick to the 54, but what I'm going to do is release that club a little bit more and use the bounce of it. So let's play 10 shots to start with, bump and run style, and then we'll swap it up and use the loft of the golf club. So we're going to move on to our final 10 shots of chipping as our pre-round warm-up. So what we're actually looking for with this is to get up and over the bunker and just to land the ball on the green. This is going to make sure that we've covered every single part of the chipping game in our little warm-up technique. So for us here, all I'm looking for is using the bounce of the club. So if you haven't watched that video already, I will run through a few quick points. All I'm looking for is that I'm actually trying to get the grip end of the club putting directly down into the ground after I play my shot. So I'm looking for a short shot with lots of release on the golf club. So all I'm going to do now is hit 5 shots, hopefully get over the bunker. Again, I'm going to do that 2 times. So again, I've hit that 10 shots, so I've hit 30 putts then, 30 chips, and then to finish off with 30 shots in the net. So all 5 went up and over the bunker, nice and high, and landed nice and softly on the green. I'm not too worried about if their ball finishes nice and close to the hole. It doesn't really matter for me in this situation. I'm just looking at trying to get the ball up and over the bunker and make sure I get lots of release on the club. It's just a little bit of practice ready for when I go out on that golf course. That's when I'm trying to dial it in that little bit more. For me in this instance, it's a little bit of a downhill green, so the ball's always going to run off the green, so I'm not too worried. It doesn't matter how high you hit it. Yet if you play a super high flop shot, you'll probably get it to sit down a little bit. But for me, in this instance, this is a bit of a severe green. We don't have many of these on the golf course, so all I'm looking for with this shot is popping it up and over, which it did. So I'm going to hit 5 more now and hopefully get all of those up and over the bunker as well. Fingers crossed. So that is the last 5 shots that I've just played. Again, I used the bounce of the club to get that ball popping up nice and high over the bunker. It is super simple, super easy technique. All you need to do is get that grip pointing towards the ground. Lots of release on there. If you can't play it, you are going to struggle with those tuck tight pin positions when you've got to get the ball up nice and high and land it softly. And that's why it's so important to practice it. Even if you do 10 before every round, you're going to get better anyway. So make sure you practice the 8 iron back of the stance, little bump and run. You do the 54 back of the stance, little bump and run. And again, you use the 54, but using the loft of the club to get that ball popping up nice and high. So it's super easy, super simple technique, and it's going to take you 5 minutes to hit 30 shots. It might have took me a little bit longer, but that is purely because I've been explaining between each shot. So for you, just make sure that you do 10 shots in total with each of those. So 30 putts, 30 chip shots, and then now we're going to move over to the nets, and what I'm looking at doing is hitting 10 shots with our wedges, 10 shots with our irons, and then 10 shots with our driver. Because I'm going out on the first tee, which is a par 5, I'm just going to hit 10 drives to finish off with. If I was playing on a par 3 to start our round of golf, what I would probably do is just hit a couple of 8 irons just so I get used to hitting that distance. So let's go over to the nets now and hit a few shots. So the club I'm going to start off with is going to be a 50 degree, and the reason that I've selected this is because I hit lots of 50 degree shots full round here, and also I could knock it down if I wanted to. I don't tend to hit many 60 degrees full, so this is the reason I'm choosing it. It's a nice easy club to be able to hit. Anything that you wanted to use, a pitching wedge, any of your wedges that you've got, is completely up to you, but just use something with lots of loft to start us off with. So I'm going to hit 10 shots with my 50 degree now, so let's see how I get on with those. So you probably noticed cut a couple thin, however I am just getting warmed up, so I'm going to hit now another 5 of these. So you may have noticed that a couple of balls actually hit the top of the netting and bounced back towards me. They were actually my best strikes out of all of them. And not because the ball came back to me and I could hit it again, but actually because the ball came off at a consistent height, and it gave me a little bit of feedback actually as well. I didn't need a driving range or a simulator to tell me that I could hit some balls in the net and know that my strike was pretty good. So in terms of warming up, really good way, just start off with a couple of wedges, 10 shots, nice and simple. Move on now to some 7 iron. So we'll hit a few 7s and then we're going to go into our driver. So just played my 10 7 iron shots there, and I struck pretty much every single one, so really happy with the contact off the face. I am starting to get a little bit of a sweat on now. Obviously hit 10 shots with the wedges, 10 shots with my 7 iron now. Because I'm getting a little bit of sweat on and nice and warmed up, I'm actually going to hit 10 shots now with my driver, ready to go as soon as I have finished my 10 drives. So I'm looking at my tee time, I've probably got a couple minutes left, 10 drives, and I want to jump straight on that tee, raring to go. So that is my 10 drivers that I have just hit. So I've done a total of 90 shots, 30 putts, 30 chips and 30 shots in the net. And now I am raring to go and ready to get onto that first tee. It took me 15 minutes, I'm nice and warm, ready to go, opposed to the guy who's just bought a bacon sandwich, forgot his scorecard, and he's running onto the first tee. So remember guys, it is so important to get nice and loose and warmed up, ready for you to hit the best shots you possibly can. If you did enjoy the video, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. And if you comment on any of my videos, you've got the chance to win a brand new Spider S or Spider X putter. So yeah, that's the one that I used in my putting video. So hopefully you comment on the video to be in with a chance of that. So as soon as I get to 1,000, I will do that giveaway. So make sure to stay tuned for more content coming out every Wednesday and Friday night at 7 o'clock. And I'll see you all again soon.